They just cut sling load on Fauci. Fauci's done. And of course, why would you trust the WHO? I mean, China owns the WHO.
You know,
Oh my God.
you're officially thinking the voters are dumb.
Apparently Dr. Fauci is going to be sued. This is what I'm hearing. Y'all know I watch Valuetainment under Patrick Bet-David. He has a podcast going, and I get a lot of information from it.
Apologist Peter, the New York Times published an opinion piece criticizing Dr. Anthony Fauci's approach to information sharing the COVID-19 pandemic. The article primarily focused on Fauci's initial refutation of the COVID lab leak theory and his association with the British zoologist Peter Daszak. The author Megan Stack wrote that Fauci and Daszak could have qualified their statement to expose Americans to more of the full picture regarding the Wuhan Institute of Virology bat virus research, but they did not. Stack also condemned Fauci for initially lying about the effectiveness of masks and frequently moving the goalposts on when it would be safe to lift lockdowns measures. This is more of a Babylon Bee story than a New York Times. Stack argued that Fauci's dishonesty and promotion of disinformation contributed to the problem of censorship and suppression of certain ideas. She concluded that attempting to clean up disinformation by suppressing discourse creates its own dangers and can lead to a society where nobody really believes anything. No shit, Sherlock. So, Alan.
Well, we already know that this was going to happen. It's just starting to blow up in their faces. Everybody that was trying to cover it up in the beginning is starting to blow up in their faces. All right, especially the doctor that was at the forefront of it all. Because ain't no loyalty, man. You should have known that this was going to happen. If things go left, who are they going to blame? Maybe he should have thought about this. All right. And just so y'all know, these reports that are being read right now are not my own. They're being read by by Patrick Bet-David. Someone else wrote this who was working closely with Fauci. And this is where you're getting information, okay? So don't try to say there's any type of misinformation that I'm putting out there, because people have been hit with that, okay? Shout out to all the content creators who have been hit by this whole censorship BS that's going on these platforms. It's just, you know what I mean? It's going to get better. I believe it's going to get better.
Thoughts on the story?
You know, we had this thing in air assault units called cut sling load. You know what I'm talking about? They just cut sling load on Fauci. Fauci's done. And they're going to distance themselves. And
what is cut sling load for?
That means that like what they did to Cuomo, they're about to do to Fauci.
Yeah, you know, you come in with a helicopter and you can pick up like a Humvee or everything with the sling attached to it. Well, when you're ready to drop it, you cut sling load.
Wow. He said like they did to Cuomo, they're doing to Fauci. Well, they also did it to Trump, but I'm just going to keep that to myself.
And that's what they've done.
Meaning the helicopter cannot carry the helicopter.
Yeah,
just cut it. We're going to
just cut and bait. They're moving on from Fauci.
Cut and bait.
But isn't it a little ironic? This is after the fact. He's already retired. He's done. He was the highest paid employee in the government.
They are getting ready for 2024. Why do you think Governor Gretchen Whitmer all of a sudden comes out and says, you know,
Michigan?
Yeah. I probably went too far.
Whoops.
Oops. I'm sorry if I ruined your business or I ruined your life. Why? They're getting ready to set themselves up for 2024. They don't want this to be a conversation because they know that the American people have STM, short-term memory. And so Fauci's going to get hit with a lot of class action lawsuits. It's coming. And so New York Times and everybody.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Okay? Allegedly.
They're separating themselves. They don't want anybody to come back and say that the New York Times were part of this. They don't want to be part of a lawsuit saying that they promote.
So you're basically saying they're putting hit pieces out there saying, hey, we did our part. It might have been 3 years too late. However, we did write some hit pieces on Fauci.
We call that the Pontius Pilate. I'm washing my hands.
Yeah.
So if I'm Fauci, I should be worried because now I'm being told I'm on my own. They've cut bait on me.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right. I believe he's protected. No bull. I believe he's protected. Just like they're looking at what he's done and they're like, oh man, it's not popular to be on your side anymore, so we got to cut you off. Hopefully y'all are paying attention to this. Please pay attention to this because everybody that supported him, that was locked arm in arm with him before, just consider their integrity, all right? Consider their character. All right, because those are going to be the same people who are going to be telling us that they are experts at the next thing. They're going to be telling us who to vote for. They're going to be telling us their opinions and hoping that we believe them. Look at their character. please. And if we disregard based off of our short-term memory, like this gentleman has said, then that's going to be us shooting ourselves in the foot.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are sympathizing for this happening to Fauci, as well as the sympathy they have for a World Health Organization, which recently came out and said, WHO, World Health Organization, says healthy kids and teens don't need vaccinations.
I'm telling you.
Wow. Whoa. Hey, that was so different from what they used to tell us, but I'm just going to mind my daggone business.
The World Health Organization has updated its guidance on COVID vaccines, recommending that healthy children and adolescents may not need to receive the shot. The WHO considers vaccinating healthy young people to be a low priority as a public health impact. You are so dark, World Health. It's much lower than that of traditional essential vaccines for children like measles and polio. WHO also called for urgent efforts to catch up on routine vaccinations missing during the pandemic and warned of a rise in vaccine-preventable diseases like measles. The CDC reported a record high of almost 40 million children missing their measles vaccines in 2021. Misinformation. Why do you think? I wonder why you're missing 40 million. Misinformation linked to vaccines has also led to parents rejecting normal childhood shots despite immunizations being the most effective way to protect children from measles.
That's because people don't trust these pharmaceutical companies anymore. They don't trust their doctors anymore, to be honest with you. It's because you was on the same train telling me that I need to do this, I should do this, or else this will happen. All right? And now they're backing away from it and going another way. We need to pay attention to all the people who was locked arm in arm with these people who were just feeding us lies. We need to consider that.
This is a Daily Mail story.
You know, it's funny. It's almost like we played a record and then we stopped and then we start playing a record backwards.
Song change.
Because WHO was like, we think it's now acceptable for 16-year-olds. Oh, we think it's now acceptable for 12-year-olds. Actually, we think that to the states that will mandate it, if their governors are smart, we can go to 10-year-olds. Remember that? We kept going down. We think 8-year-olds would be fine. We kept going down. Now the WHO said, no, I don't think you need the 8, 10, 12, 16s, or 18s. It's like we're going backwards. They don't need it. Remember that? We went down the ages. Now we go back up the ages. There's no legitimacy here.
Truth is powerful, and they are now understanding that how they hoodwinked not just the United States of America, entire world is coming to fruition. It's coming back against them. And of course, why would you trust the WHO? I mean, China owns the WHO.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. He said, why would you trust the WHO? China owns the WHO.
You know who this favors? One guy. This only favors one guy.
Yeah.
It favors the guy that his campaign for 2024 should be, I told you so. Mm-hmm. That's one guy. And he's going to come out one by one. He just needs to have one by one stories. Russian collusion, number one. Vaccine for kids, number two. Shutting down, number three. School, number four. You know, all of these things, he just needs to go one by one story. And both him and DeSantis can use the I told you so campaign, because DeSantis can say, I told you what I did in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. Trump can do the other side. The left has to apologize. Did you see how Biden 2 days ago said?
He said the left has to apologize. I'm sorry, Patrick Bet David, but sir, the left ain't apologizing for sugar honey iced tea. They're not apologizing. They're going to act like it don't even exist. They're not going to report anything to their followers or their supporters that will make them look wrong, make them look foolish. And they're going to make sure that they continue to let everyone know that if you hear any information from the other side, they are demonic. You can't trust anything that they give you. You know, it's that same old thing. It's that same old thing. It's like a young girl growing up in a household where she has a touchy-feely uncle that's just like, hey, nobody's going to believe you. You try to tell them, they're going to think you a lie. And I'm going to make sure that I make sure that you look that way. So, you know what I mean? It's the worst thing ever, you know? And people will just eat it up like it ain't nothing. Even if they accidentally hear the truth, what was going to replay in their mind over and over and over again is that their trusted source never reported on it, so I don't trust this source. Period. I don't care how much you can back it up with some type of valid sources. They don't care. My trusted source didn't teach me this or didn't tell me this. So I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you.
Republicans are the reason behind the fentanyl issue because they're not taking a border seriously. Did you see that? Did you see that a couple days ago? Who's going to fall for that? To say something like that. I mean, this is the part where you have to be so... You're
arrogant.
willing to go to such levels to gaslight people. You're officially thinking the voters are dumb. That's what you think.
Well, they believe in the...
They know the voters are dumb. They know the voters are dumb. Well, not necessarily dumb, but...
Get that bang bang tea, y'all.
Intentionally ill-informed and stubborn. So if that means dumb, then yeah, they know that that voters are intentionally ill-informed and stubborn, and we're going to vote for who we want to vote for no matter what. I mean, look at me. I consider myself halfway intelligent, and I still voted for Biden. That's because intentionally, I didn't want to go out there and find any information that will make the party whom I believed in for a long time look foolish, because then that will make me look foolish. At some point, though, I had to bite the bullet and be like, yo, something's not right. I need to go and look over there and see what they're talking about and learn both sides now. As a matter of fact, I need to look at the party that I believed in and see what they're talking about, because I was just taking whatever they fed me. Whatever they fed me, I would take it, wouldn't even look into it, because I'm like, I trust them. Why would Don Lemon lie to me? Huh? Why would Rachel Maddow lie to me? That's what I'm thinking. Why would CNN lie to me? That's what I was thinking. So I'm like, man, I believe what they saying. Come on now. I get into debates with people all the time, acting as if I know what the hell I'm talking about, where in all reality, I didn't know sugar honey iced tea the entire time. But I felt brazen enough to stand 10 toes down and just have these conversations with people who actually did research. Guess what? And I felt good about it until I started learning the truth.